go, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Austin Gary. Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll from beautiful Toyota of Hollywood. Good morning, boys and girls. It's not a good morning, right? Because obviously last night was extremely painful. As I see Myron's already chimed in with a super chat on a happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you, Myron. I think it's like the second time he tells me happy birthday, because he told me also on social media already as it is. But thank you. We are celebrating 54 today on the world. 54 years of experience, 54 years of survival, and every day that we get, we are blessed to be here. So thank you all out there for supporting us, and thanks to all the folks already that have sent in a whole bunch of well wishes all over the place. So I appreciate it all, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, my texts, the YouTube chat board, on the regular chat board at 786-322-1105. Thank you all out there. I wish today on my birthday it was a little happier day, because it started off obviously with the Marlins winning, and that was fantastic, as they had that 5-run seventh inning, and everything exploded, and they were awesome. But then last night just ended with a thud, as Myron's Lakers absolutely crushed our Miami Heat last night, 116-98. And Myron, by the way, sends in a second super chat. Give him some love there, bro. Thank you, Myron. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. You are the amazing one, not me, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. We just try to grind every day and try to give you a program that you guys can be satisfied with every single day. Last night was depressing. I got to tell you, last night was depressing in so many different ways, because a lot of times, you look at a situation, and this happens to all of us. We can all relate to the Heat at one point or another. And last night, for the first time in this playoff run, it looked like the moment was too big for them. For the first time. They started off really well for the first half of that quarter, but then once they started to make one mistake, it led to another. Once they missed a rebound, it led to another. Once they missed a shot and a play didn't go their way, it led to other screw-ups. And then the injuries started to pile up as the game went on. Bam dealing, you saw the wrist again, the shoulder. Apparently, according to, I think I saw it on 5 Reasons, what's it called? It's a plantar fasciitis issue for Goran Dragic. And, they say, yeah, he might still try to play and all that. And then Jimmy Butler also is dealing with an ankle injury. And he's kind of had that, ankle injury now here in the last couple of games. And I got to tell you something, I don't know how you win this series anymore now. I don't. I mean, I'd love to blow smoke up your ass and tell you, hey, look, it's possible if this happens and if that happens. And listen, man, I'm a homer. I love my teams. I live and die with all the teams. But I'm going to be honest. I don't like actually dancing around. The Heat need to be healthy in order to beat the Lakers. The Heat need to play perfect basketball in order to beat those two superstars. And even yesterday, all the guys around them were able to feed off of them too. I mean, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hit some big shots early to kind of keep them there when Miami started to build a lead. And when the Lakers started to cut into that lead, it was Pope that hit a bunch of big shots, to help them out there. And then everybody else kind of fed off of it. And Anthony Davis took over. And right now, if Bam is not even 100%, even at 100%, it's hard to contain Davis because nobody really is big enough and athletic enough to hang with that guy. And, I talked about this yesterday. Olynyk and Leonard Myers aren't going to bring anything defensively for you at all. And the only guy is Bam, and Bam is still undersized compared to Anthony Davis. And now Bam is obviously dealing with the shoulder and the wrist, too, because he was holding the wrist also. Everybody talks about the shoulder, but I saw him also. Not 100%. And I'd love to sit here and say, well, if this happens and that happens, and about the only thing that happened yesterday was, didn't I tell you that there were 1 or 2 guys that need to step up to kind of help out? Not
one of them did.
And it was Kendrick Nunn.
It went off.
And they tried with Derrick Jones early, and Derrick Jones was a total goofball. He was getting burned on defense, which was expected because he's
his size, man. You could see it every time he got body to body. He goes flying.
He cannot stay with LeBron, but he missed rebounds, shots. He was just screwing it all up, and then they had to take him out. But then Nunn came in again. Now it didn't mean anything because you're trailing by 4,000 points. But that's kind of what I was talking about. That we needed either Nunn or Derrick Jones Jr. to kind of help. On top of everything that you were doing, I was saying you need to expand a little bit more to beat these guys. Okay? Now you have lost more, so it really doesn't matter what Kendrick Nunn does at this point, because if you don't have a healthy Goran Dragic, a healthy Jimmy Butler, and a healthy Bam Adebayo, you have absolutely no shot in this series. Okay?
You have to be firing on all cylinders, and you've lost all your main cylinders.
I wanted all cylinders, and I wanted to add a Derrick Jones or Nunn. One of the two. I told you guys you need to add one more of those guys to add another perimeter threat and kind of create problems for them. But if you're this way, I'm sorry. I'd love to sit here and tell you, oh, yeah, no, they can extend this series. And I don't play that game, man. You know what I mean? I leave that for 560 and 790 since they're tied to the team. Their program director probably doesn't want them telling the truth. So they'll want to stretch things out. But that's not how I play the game on here. I'd love to see them win. I picked the Heat to win. But They had to play a perfect series in order to win, and there's no way you're going to play a perfect series without those three guys healthy. It's
not doable. It's just bottom line.
And here's the part that I hate the most about this series and how it's developing now. It was a great story. It still is a great story. It'll be a great season for the Heat no matter how it ends because they weren't supposed to be in the NBA Finals, and they are. But the worst part about it is now, outside of the Heat Nation, the rest of the basketball world now will completely lose interest in this series because they're expecting a sweep. They don't even think Miami will win a game, which they probably won't. Maybe one game they get lucky and they shoot really well or something. But at this point, the way they're all banged up, you play tomorrow. It's not like you got time to recover or anything like that. You play tomorrow.
The first 4 games are that way.
Yeah.
One day off in between.
Yeah, and it just makes it an impossible situation. But then the narrative takes over like, okay, we got cheated. You know, the Cinderella team got there and then became, you know, the pumpkin or whatever. The prince became the frog, you name it, all that stuff. And so that's the narrative that's going to be picked up now is that they would have been better off still with the Celtics or the Raptors or another team because the young Heat team was really excited and they get there and now they have fallen apart. And hell, normally I'm used to Anthony Davis actually falling apart. And meanwhile, it's all these other players for the Miami Heat falling apart. Just terrible stuff. And it was so deflating. You know what I mean? I watched the whole game. I suffered through the entire
I was with
thing,
you, bro. Yep.
You know, because I'm sure a lot of you turned
Well, we
it
didn't
off
know
in
about the injuries, and I wanted to
fourth.
see what was, you know, how everybody else was going to play, who was going to step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I got the injury news, that's when my heart sank, man.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? And I'm going to be honest. Look, the Lakers were 34.9% from 3 for the season. They were 21 out of 30 teams, okay? They shot 65%.
No, I know.
It was going to be, even with our guys healthy, with them shooting like that from 3, it was going to be tough for us to win that game.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to I don't want to blame it on injuries like you. They shot out of their skulls.
No,
it was crazy.
Before the injuries mounted,
right.
It was falling apart for them.
Yeah, the shooting. It just
after that midway part of the first quarter, they were done, dude.
Yeah.
After they took that big lead,
and they ran it
and
down.
the Lakers shaved that lead down and took the lead to end the first quarter because you sat there 31-28, right? I believe it was 31-28 in the first quarter. And come on, admit it. You sat there and you go, damn, you had all this huge lead, and you end up losing the quarter when it's all said and done. It was so deflating the first quarter. And then you start adding the injuries and the route to it. It was just like a game where I felt sick to my stomach.
We weren't making layups. We were missing 8 and 12,
20s.
15 little jumpers. Nobody could make it. We couldn't throw a ball in the ocean.
Yeah, it was
okay?
terrible.
And defensively, when they're popping those threes, every time a guy would go out on a guy on 3, would sidestep him and dribble, penetrate, and our defense would collapse, and they kick it back out to somebody on 3, and boom, there it goes.
They had a groove going. In the house, thank you, Ian. Obviously, Myron chimed in twice already with a little super chat action. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Julius 305 is in. Samuel Robina, thank you for the well wishes. Ronald Hubbard, also, thank you, sir. He says, very happy birthday to one of the best sports talk radio hosts in America. I hope you have a super spectacular day, bro. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I was So that's about the only thing that, like she asked me, like, what do you want for your birthday? I go, I don't want anything. I said, the only thing I want is a steak. That's it. Get me a steak. And she goes, where do you want to go? And I go, no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to a restaurant. I don't care what. See, that's the problem now. We're opening everything up, and people are going out, and now they're starting to act like there is no virus. I think like 900 and something Americans died yesterday. There is no virus, and I'm not wearing a mask. I mean, that's what businesses are running into now. That people are walking in because they think everything's open. Oh, everything's back to normal. It's like they don't follow anything. They don't know anything. And so I get it if there's restaurants open. I want nothing to do with sitting in a restaurant right now. I will not be sitting in a restaurant easily in 2020. Okay? Easily 2020. Probably easily half of 2021, I will not go to a restaurant. Not to eat or anything like that. If I have to go meet somebody or something, I'll try to meet them on the outside terrace or something, but I am not going to sit somewhere inside anywhere to eat any food, because I've been fortunate enough, knock on wood, that I've avoided that stupid COVID thing. I want to keep avoiding it because I don't want to take the chance of catching it at all. So there's no way. I can't even enjoy a steak at a restaurant. So now I got to get one delivered, and hopefully it's pretty fresh and still tastes good and all that good stuff. But we'll get through it. But that's the way of the world now. Jay Gelfin is in. Thank you, sir, for the well wishes. Let's see, Miami Kid Jay. The reality is they're overwhelmed and overmatched. You cannot turn over the ball on this Laker team and expect to win. It's the finals. No time to be timid or afraid of the moment. And for the first time, the moment looked too big for them. You know what I mean? That's the sad part. Jumpman 305 says play KZ against AD. He's the only athlete that can cover. Really? You're KZ, right? Okay. The guy that never plays. We're going to put him up against one of the 5 best players in the NBA. Mike Gomez, small ball versus size. Their size with Davis, Braun, and Howard are a problem. We can defend Braun, but Davis is a problem. Bam needs to be healthy to have a shot. You're 1,000% right. Myron, it's an Alice in Chains shirt. You put Alice Cooper, it's Alice in Chains. Okay? But it is a nice shirt, by the way. I do like this shirt. Got this at one of their concerts a few years back. But it's Alice in Chains, not Alice Cooper. Your sound is going on and off.
I know we're back. It's
Okay.
the internet. I saw the screen bleed. I had to shut it down and build it back up. But we're back on and going.
Okay. Perhaps Leonard or Olynyk for size and rebounding, but Davis is a major problem. The problem is Leonard and Olynyk aren't good rebounders. They're not good defenders. They're more offensive players and three-point shooters and stretch guys more than anything else. I wouldn't count on those guys on defenses. Put it this way. I look at those guys like they're 12 fouls there. Jim Turcotti is in. He's giving me a little well wishes. Thank you, sir. Appreciate all of you there chiming in on the chat board there on YouTube and the super chat. It was a night to forget. Let's just call it that way. Unfortunately, look, I'm hoping for some kind of a miracle, but it's unrealistic to expect anything from these guys now at this point. When you're that banged up, and if you're the Lakers, I mean, blood is in the water right now. You want to finish them out. You know what I mean? And the other part about the Heat in this series, they were putting themselves in the 8-ball in games by falling behind. They weren't falling behind in series. Okay? They were always ahead in every series. So even when they fell behind in a game, they always had the leverage that they had the advantage in the series. They don't have the advantage in the series anymore now. They lost game 1 now. So you lose game one, you lose 3 players to injury, and now you're down 0-1, and you not only have to play the perfect game, you're going to have to try to do it with guys that are either banged up or not even in the lineup. Because I get that Dragons, they say, oh, you can put some weight on and all that. Dude, plantar fasciitis, I remember when Timmy was playing with it. I remember Jason Taylor played with it. Alonzo Mourning also played with it. I've covered athletes that have played with plantar fasciitis, and they're not the same player anymore. And especially a point guard, having all the cuts that a point guard has to do. I get it. He's a tough dude, and he's going to suck it up and try to win. I understand all of that, okay? And I respect it. I respect that Bam's going to try to come back from that shoulder injury. I respect that Dragic is going to try to play, if he can, in the plantar fasciitis. I know Jimmy Butler's crazy ass is going to get out there and play on that ankle because he's a tough guy. I get all of that. But the reality is that now they're not going to be themselves. And the Heat need them to be themselves. And now the Heat are absolutely behind the 8 ball like they've never been in these playoffs. They dominated the Pacers. They dominated the Bucks. They dominated the Celtics. And so when they fell behind in a game, they always had the advantage. They don't have that to fall back on now. Now they're at every disadvantage. They don't have superstars on their team to match superstars. They're now trailing 0-1 in the series. And now they have 3 major injuries on their team. I don't know how you do it. I just don't know.
I don't think if you were trying to stack the deck any harder against the Heat, I don't think you could do it right now.
No, you can't. You know what? There's only one more way. This game would be played in Los Angeles, game 2.
Oh.
That's the only other.
You know what? You're right. That's it. That's it.
That's it. That's the only other way you can stack it even more than what it is. That, okay, not only do you have all of this, now you also have to walk into the Staples Center for game 2 and a packed house with the Lakers. And you've been in Los Angeles for a couple days sitting on all the headlines and all the talk and all that stuff. Whereas now you're in the bubble, you're kind of sealed off from the world in a way if you want.
You can isolate a little bit.
Yeah, no, all you have to do is shut down social media and
that's it, yeah.
Just hang out with your teammates in practice, and you can be tuned out. And you can get zoned back in for the game. But again, it's a little too much to ask. I would love to sit here and think of ways that they can win and overcome all this adversity.
Look, not to say that they're not going to fight. Not to say that they're going to do everything, scratch, claw.
It's the Heat.
Battle.
It's the Heat.
Hop on one leg if they have to.
It's the Heat.
Okay?
Yeah.
Put both hands behind their back, try to bite you. They're going to go down kicking and screaming.
Yes. Yes.
We saw last night. There was a good effort, and Kendrick Nunn did show up.
Right.
I mean, to take some soul, it's gotta grab something, man. We were so high. Gotta grab some happiness, man.
I know.
There.
It's
That's
tough. It's tough. It is absolutely tough. Hey, we were at VSS West Pines yesterday. Had a great time out there with everybody like we always do. Go see the guys out there, man, from CBD to THC to you name it. They've got it out there. The e-juice. If you're looking for a hookah pipe, if you're looking for a water pipe, all kinds of different other things that they've got there for sale. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. You can ask, if you tell them that I sent you, say, hey, Big O says I get 20% off, and you're going to get 20% off at 12397 Pembroke Road. They've got the largest selection of rolling papers. They've got the largest selection, of raw and smoking rolling papers, 2 elite brands also there. Hookah starting as low as $19.99 and up. They've got even the Khalil Mamoon, which is the Egyptian-made one. CBD, they've got it in flour, tinctures, edibles. They've got women's face masks. They've got CBD topicals and salve for pain, transdermal patches. I'm telling you, go check out the website, vsswestpines.com. Tell them that I sent you. Call them. If you want curbside pickup, they've got that too still. You can walk in with your mask and buy whatever you want. But if you want to buy it on, by phone, you can buy it by phone, 954-613-3367. You pull up to the door, and they'll curbside service, and they'll bring out your package, and you're gone, and you don't have to make contact with anybody. 954-613-3367. It's vsswestpines.com. Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com. Go to the website. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231 or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with zero down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
back. Let me get a little water here. Let's see.
You know what I did to counter the heat last night, man?
What's that?
Because I, of course, had the Yankees game with the rain delay and all. I ended up staying up till the end, the final out. That game was amazing, 10-9. Had to do something, man, to kill the unhappiness.
Right.
You know, because as you're hearing about the injuries, you know, because, okay, it's one game. I'm thinking, it's one game. It's one game. And I almost like remember when the Marlins got killed by the Braves, 19-6 or whatever. It was like the point differential, it doesn't matter. It's just one loss. It's one game. But when we got word of the injuries, man, it just like.
Yeah, no, it's a bad day, unfortunately, man. It's a sad one. Alexa V is in the house. The president is in. Thank you for the well wishes, Alexa. A man of 1,005 holds. Happy birthday to a music historian, dog lover, and a guy who will tell you like it is. Enjoy your day, Big O. Thank you, man of 1,005 holds. I wish we had better things to say today. Jumpman 305, the Lakers have only two guys that score over 20-plus points. Heat has to turn this into a low defensive scoring game possible. I know easier said than done. Problem is, Jumpman 305, you can't stop the two guys. They have no answers for those guys. Triana is in. Alex Diaz is in. Thank you, Alex, for the well wishes. Miami Kid J. Tyler Hero reminded me of Tannehill last night. The moment was just too big. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately, it looked that way for him. NorCal says, I'm going to tell you what to do. Have a happy birthday. Raging Dolphin Maniac also in the house. And thanks to all of you out there, as always, for your contributions, as always, and your support to our program. We are out here at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be out here till noon, maybe just a tad afternoon. And then we'll be at 2 o'clock over at Hialeah Park. We'll be at the Champions Simulcast Center from 2 to 5. Got a loaded show. Ethan Skolnick from 5 Reasons is going to join us. Jeff Zilgit, USA writer, NBA writer for USA Today. Eddie House is in the house. Will be in our house at 4 o'clock, or shall I say Eddie will be in the house with us at 4 o'clock. Andre Fernandez will join us in the second hour at the latter part around 11:50. So we'll talk a little Marlins, as the Marlins got it done yesterday against the Cubs 5-0. And the Marlins also, wow, dude, Sterling Marte. And apparently Sterling Marte is going to try to play through the broken hand. But if you watched it yesterday, he got the inside pitch, and it hit him right there, and then he must have broken some kind of
when your hand's in between the ball and the bat.
Yeah.
Not good.
And so he breaks his hand, and listen, they're not the Dodgers and the Yankees and these kind of teams that they can take out another guy from the bench who's just as good probably and plug him in there. They don't have that. You know what's the funny part? There's a guy following me on Twitter. I forgot which one it is because, you know, people throw comments out. You don't track them or anything. But I remember when they traded for Starling Marte, some guy right away texts me, goes, what the hell are the Marlins doing? Why would you want to trade for this guy? You're a young team. You're rebuilding. What do you need him for? And that's because while they were a young team, again, they were trying to win. And he has been an awesome addition to the Marlins. He has played really, really well and helped them.
Didn't he hit a home run in his first game?
Yeah, no, I mean, he played really well. He got big hits, big home runs, big plays defensively. I mean, no, he has been just awesome for the team since they acquired him. One of the many reasons why they ended up clinching a playoff spot. And when he went out yesterday, you know, with the broken hand, that just like it deflated me to a certain extent. It's baseball. They can try to overcome this, especially when baseball, all you need is to win one more of the next 2 games, and they can do that. but it's going to hurt them long term. They don't have that kind of depth. At least they won the game. You know, if Miami suffers a couple of injuries last night against the Lakers, but they still win the game, okay, you kind of like say, all right, you know, but they got their asses kicked and they lost, and then they lost people at the same time. That's a whole different ball game there. But I felt bad for the Marlins because it's, you know, they've gone and earned this playoff spot. They now go and earn that first win, and they're already at a deficit compared to everybody else because they're so young, so inexperienced. They're throwing 3 babies out there on the mound in consecutive days to pitch. I mean, I get it that Sandy Alcantara has been here for 2 years or whatever, but he's not a seasoned veteran or everything. He's a kid. And then we're throwing Sixto Sanchez today. I mean, it's like they're already at such a disadvantage that the Marte thing, like, frustrates me, right? Because, man, you know, they need every little bit to because as long as this thing – look, the good thing about the Marlins and the good thing about the Heat is both are playing with house money, okay? I had the Heat out in the second round. That's probably where they should have gone out. And they didn't, and they made it through the second round, then made it through the Eastern Conference, and now they're in the NBA Finals. We can never complain about the Heat season. The Heat have had a great season no matter how this thing ends. If it's a sweep, if they win, if they lose in 5, 6, 7, or if they win in 5, 6, or 7. I don't care what it is. It's been a great season for them. Unfortunately, it is what it is now.
I should have been playing
point.
golf and fishing for the last few weeks.
Yeah, so we can never really complain about the Heat season. Heat season's been absolutely amazing. So it is what it is. BJ Jaggers says, man, I've been searching for your show, Big O. Great to find you, my brother. Well, thank you, my friend. You know, it's really important that you guys that you guys grab the share button and pass it on to everybody else and send it to a friend and email it, text it to them, tweet it to them, Facebook post, Reddit, all that stuff so people can continue to find out. It's been a great year for us. We hit 2 million down. We're at 2.1 million downloads already, going into our 13th month here, as we've done a really, really good job overall with our downloads. So thank you all out there. We got people downloading it all over the world. So that's the good thing, that we're able to build up the listeners and the followers every single day, little by little, and we appreciate all of you out there. And some more stuff is coming too. We're getting really close to it, so I can't wait to really unleash what is coming. Let's see. NorCal says, Bill, enjoy that 2-hour break, brother. he's not really breaking. It's not really a break, actually.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, you tear down here to drive down there to build it back up again to start. That's all you have enough time for. There's nothing else. I mean, he might be able to scarf down a quick lunch or something, but that's about it. He doesn't really have time.
Yeah,
it's not really a break.
after I get you up and on, then I could have some lunch.
Maybe. Yeah, you know. So it's really not a break. He's actually working his ass off. We both are, right from the get-go, from the morning on till the afternoon.
Yeah, once your foot hits the floor,
done.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's nonstop.
Yeah. I'll wait for game 2 to come up with the conclusion if the Heat are done. It's one game. Yeah, it's one game, but it's too many injuries. If it was just a loss and no injuries, I'm with you, a man of 1,005 volts. But after I watch those 3 injuries, and one of them is plantar fasciitis, no, I would love to try to convince myself that it's not going to be a big deal, but it's a huge deal, unfortunately. Big O, the Jets play tonight. Are you ready for the circus? LOL. Let's talk about that, because Jets Broncos tonight. It's Sam Darnold versus Brett Rypien. And Brett Rypien, yes, he is Mark Rypien's, I think, nephew.
I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, nephew. Yeah, I remember him coming out of the draft. And somebody may win. Can you imagine if this sorry-ass game ends up in a tie? and they both end up 0-3-1. You know, I saw that there was a report that said that Gase's job is not on the line tonight because obviously we're getting to a point now with Adam Gase that maybe even the owners are figuring out that, maybe the public is right. This guy sucks and he's not the guy. And my guy Tom from Dolphins Talk, he came up with this twisted tweet. And let me tell you, it's twisted, it's all screwed up, but he's actually right. And for those of us that are Dolphin fans, we're better off rooting for the Jets tonight.
It's exactly what I was thinking, man. I hope they blow them out. And then they could show the brilliance of Gase's offense.
Yeah, it's like to keep Gase around, and if we want to keep him around in the division and keep him around with the Jets, I mean, think about it. Earlier last week, they had that earlier this week, I think it was on Monday, wasn't it? No, it was last week. They had the rally for the Jets. It was on a Friday, and 4 people showed up for it. So not even enough fans have shown up to actually care about, canning him. Then again, it could be also a COVID thing, and they didn't want to be bunched up with other people, which would be really, really smart on their part. But in a twisted way, okay, think about this, Dolphin fans. In a twisted way, my man Tom from Dolphins Talk is right. I think maybe we got to root for the Jets tonight. We actually want them to win and defeat the Broncos, so that way they actually think, no, it's just it was a rough start. We'll get it going now that we've beat the Broncos and we can move on. How about that?
This is just a bump in the road, man. Look what he did.
Got to beat the Broncos and got to root for the Jets. A Dolphin fan rooting for the Jets. But think about this.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't Denver take another hit on the defensive line this week? I want to say they did.
Not sure.
They've got another guy on the IR.
I know that their young quarterback is sidelined. That's a big loss for them.
And their number 1 receiver.
Yeah, but I gotta say that team, the Jets and the mess. Why would you watch tonight? Right? None of us are gonna watch. I don't have anything fantasy related on either team. Okay, I wouldn't pick anything on either mess. But I'll tell you this.
Don't you have a tight end?
Oh, yeah, I do have Fant.
Thank you.
I have 3 tight ends. He's the 3rd tight end. I don't start him. I start either Hayden Hurst, usually, or what's it called, the New Orleans guy.
So back in the day, he's your 6th tiebreaker back in the day.
Yeah. He's he's a tiebreaker right now, or he's a flex guy because they have a backup quarterback, too. If the kid was starting, then maybe I might have him in the discussion with it. But for now, I'm going to lean to the other 2 guys, they aren't lighting up the world either. By the way, none of my tight ends are lighting up the world. But that's why my team sucks, and I'm 1-2. But anyway, I don't have anything involved in fantasy. Most people are not going to be involved too much in fantasy. If you are, your fantasy team is probably hurting if you're counting on one of these teams and their players on the fantasy side. So the only reason you would watch this is for the train wreck value of it, right? It's to hear the announcers talk about Adam Gase's mess and the owners and the fans, and because they're going to bring up the rally from last week on the broadcast. They're going to show that there were 4 people there. You know what I mean? It's going to be. That's really what it's all about. It's just to see what kind of a disaster are the Jets right now. How bad is it with Adam Gase right now? That's it. That's all this is all about. You are not watching for football purposes. You're not watching it because you admire the teams. You're not watching it for entertainment purposes, unless you're talking about a train wreck of entertainment. Most of us aren't watching it for fantasy. Very few people are going to be involved in fantasy. I mean, really think about that. There is no real value to watching this game. And, I mean, you got to stay up for this game. That's the other thing. I mean, if you have insomnia, you might want to put that game on because that might be the cure for insomnia. That thing might actually help you overcome it, and you might end up, falling asleep. That is, wow. These are the moments where the NFL has to flex out games, even in week, 4. Gus 1388 gives us a little love on the Super Chat. Thank you, Gus. He says, happy birthday, Big O. You the man. Appreciate you. Thank you for chiming in on the Super Chat, my friend. Appreciate you. Let's see, what else do we have here? Question. If you were Flores, wouldn't you want Noah on Lockett and Howard on Metcalf? I see what you're saying, but they've been playing to sides now. So I don't know. See, the problem is I don't know if they're comfortable moving Noah around yet. I know they're comfortable moving X around, but you can't move X around unless the other guy's also willing to move around or that he's comfortable. And maybe they feel Noah's good only on one side, or they don't want him thinking that much because he's a rookie. So I understand what you're talking about in a perfect world, how you would cover, the guys Lockett and DK Metcalf from the Seahawks. I understand all of that, but we are talking about a rookie corner, and that's why you saw he had a rough outing early on. You don't want him having to think about all his responsibilities. And remember, Alex, they don't stay on man all the time. They also switch up to zone. And if you start moving around, you have to stay on man. And what if you also want to, slip in some zone coverages at times, and he has to move around and remember when, and remember all his responsibilities on the zone on one side or the zone on the other side. There's a lot of thinking to it. And I think, Alex, they don't want to put that kind of burden on Noah. They just want to kind of make it easy for him to grow. So let him do less thinking, play more instinctively, and then as he gets better and the confidence grows, then you start to add more on his plate, okay? And I think that's what's happening. So in a perfect world, I love your thinking. But right now, they're not in a perfect situation because they've got a rookie corner. Let's see. Ronald Hubbard says, come on, everybody. Smash that like button and share. Only 9 likes so far. Let's go. Appreciate all of you out there. As always, sharing, liking, doesn't matter what you do, man. Appreciate all of you out there for doing it. Let's see what else. 90 miles from Cuba gives us some well wishes. You share a birthday with my wife. Your wife is also October 1st. Nice. A happy birthday to her. All right. Let's see. Tell us your best B-Day story covering the Dolphins, please. Wow. I don't know if I have a great B-Day story covering the Dolphins. I mean, I can remember covering the Dolphins like I was as a beat guy for many, many years, but I don't remember anything that happened specifically on my birthday at Dolphins camp that was anything memorable.
They never had a cake and balloons for you, and
No. I mean, when I went to the hospital, they sent me stuff, including Mike Tannenbaum. But no. I mean, most memorable thing once was one of my producers on a show had Riley call in on my birthday, had a couple people call in and stuff like that, you know. I remember when that kind of was set up. Brian Spector, by the way, was the producer that got all that done. But no, I don't remember.
That's actually super cool.
Yeah. Right. Well, that was when we did the morning show. Riley used to listen a lot to the morning show. And so I have a good relationship with Riley. But yeah, no, I don't remember anything, dude. I don't think I remember anything specific on my birthday at Dolphins camp. And I've been working my birthday for decades now because I don't really take a day off that much. Unless, you know, obviously I get sick. Then I'm forced to take it off. But yeah, I've worked all my birthdays. Now that I think about it, Herman, I don't remember anything specific. Maybe there was, and I'll think about it, and it'll come to mind. But right now, I don't remember anything like that.
It'll be after we leave Hialeah Racetrack. You're driving home, and it'll come to you.
Probably, yeah. Matthew is in, says, sorry, I am late. You guys got started way earlier than expected. Well, we told you we were going to do 10 to 12 today here and 2 to 5 over at Hialeah Park. Let's see. I second Herman's request. NorCal would love. I don't have anything. I'm sorry, man. Let's see. Raging Dolphin Maniac. There's no way I'm cheering for the Jets, even to help the Finns. I get it, but it's a good thing.
There has been a couple times for playoff help or winning the division or that we have rooted for the Jets. Now, mind you, you can count it on one hand.
Right.
But, you know, as long as it helps the Dolphins, there really is no problem with that.
I got to tell you, I got to hope the Jets win tonight. I mean, it's gonna. I'm gonna admit to you guys 1,000% on this. I am not going to have a lot of attention on that game. Like, I'm going to put it on, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to switch off and go watch something else and go check something else out. And during the game, I don't know if I could see myself watching that game all the way through. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna definitely watch the beginning just to see the beginning of the train wreck with Gase. But it's a good thing to want him to win, okay? NorCal goes, I second Raging Maniac's rule of not cheering for the Jets. I get you, man. I get you. The train wreck value is exactly what I'll watch tonight. Sam Darnold going to throw to Ghost tonight. Let's see. Big O, do a third show today, and you call the game live. Yes. And then I'll have no voice by Friday. Sid says, when Tua's starting, will he start with Seattle if Fitzpatrick collapses? Yeah, I mean, he's the next guy up. They don't have an experienced guy back there, so they are ready to put him in there whenever Fitz goes down. But Sid, I'm not hoping that happens. I'm hoping Fitz stays upright, and I hope they beat Seattle this weekend. And I believe they got a shot. I'm sorry. I know, call me crazy, but I think the Dolphins can win this weekend. I really do. Let's see, what else do we have? Big O, when you were a beat writer, I wasn't a beat writer, I was a beat reporter. For the Dolphins, was there a player or coach that you couldn't stand? Oh, yeah, definitely. I certainly did not enjoy covering Saban. He was a jerk. That's it for coaches. I didn't really dislike any of the other coaches that I've covered. Players, Brock Marion. Number one right there, okay? Just an absolute a-hole, okay? Total jerk. And the weirdest part about Brock Marion is that he would be a jerk with me, okay? And I would be in that secondary section every day because Sam Madison and Pat Surtain and Terrell Buckley were all super cool with me. To this day, I don't talk to T-Buck nearly as much. I've run into him in the Senior Bowl a couple times. I don't see him nearly as much. But Sam Madison and Pastor Tant, I have great relationships with those guys. Okay? Those guys, I mean, when they were players, they, we had great conversations. And he saw it. And I'm not talking about with a mic on. I'm talking about off mic, off the record, stuff like that. Those guys knew they could trust me. And yet, Brock Marion was always an a-hole with me, bro. He was an a-hole with everybody. Okay? He was just like a moody guy. There aren't a lot of Dolphins that I dislike. Lawrence Phillips did not look like a good dude, but I can't really say anything terrible about him because I didn't really deal much. He wasn't here very long. There aren't a lot of Dolphins I dislike. Believe it or not, a lot of the guys that I met with the Dolphins are good dudes, man, overall. They're mistakes or whatever. In the locker room like I dislike Brock Marion. Man, I'm trying to think of somebody that I
Brock stands alone.
Yeah, like I can think of several baseball players, you know what I mean? But wow, Dolphin players. Now that I think about it, I got along with most Dolphin players. Most Dolphin players were cool dudes, man. There has to be somebody else that was an a-hole with me. And maybe was an a-hole with everybody else, obviously. Man, who was it? I'm having trouble, actually.
Right. It wasn't like you were being singled out.
Chris Carter. Chris Carter was a smart ass and an a-hole. Yeah. Okay? That's the other guy. Total jerk. Let's see what else. You should want the Jets to win 4 or 5 games. Well, that actually, Pat in Asheville nailed it. It's not just because you want to keep Adam Gase around. You don't want them to get Trevor Lawrence. He's right. I think that's why he means the 4 or 5 games. I'm with you, Pat. I follow you, dude. I know what you're saying now. That is
so there's 2 benefits.
There's 2 benefits to wanting the Jets winning. Yes. Yep. Big O, call me crazy, but I think the Dolphins will beat Seattle. The biggest threat, in my opinion, is Russell Wilson's legs. They need to contain and spy. Miami Kid J, have you seen his arm? Come on, man.
I think he has 14 touchdowns and 1 interception.
He's a magician with his arms, bro.
And I want to say that's the fastest. That's the most touchdowns in 3 games.
Yeah.
Right? It was Patrick Mahomes was 13. He's there now.
Yeah.
With 3 games.
Big O, who do you think will win for picks purpose? Huh? Herman, I have no idea what that question means. Lawrence to Jets does not scare me. I get what you're saying. It's like Joe Burrow to Cincinnati, that he'll never reach his potential. But just in case, I still don't want it to happen. Okay? All right? Just in case.
The only good we want to happen for the Jets is so that it ends up turning out badly for them. Right?
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
Do good enough so that you don't do great.
Yeah.
Continue to suck.
Yeah.
Jets, Jets.
All right, let's take a quick break. It's 11:09. We'll come back on the other side. We're coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood. Come on by, 1841 North State Road 7. Steve Ostrov is in the house. Herbie Lopez will come by here at the bottom of the hour. Herbie's happy. He's a Lakers fan. Gary Thompson is in. The lovely and talented Lori Rodriguez, Azric Smith, Joel Rubio. Just some amazing people out here at Toyota of Hollywood. Hey, it's Big O for all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs. You got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to appear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction. Listen, I've been telling you about Eric for a long time now. Custom home builder for additions, home remodeling. We're not talking about a handyman. Maybe you want to redo that man cave. We're not going to a lot of live sporting events. So you want to improve that experience in your man cave? Call them 305-433-4843. Tell them that Big O sent you and go to the Instagram page. You can see the before and after there. You'll be impressed. EJD_construction. Call them 305-433-4843 or go to the website ejdconstruction.com.
America's premium sports sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. TLX $259 a month, $259 at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
All right, we back. Morning, everybody out there. Herbie Lopez, the general manager, come by and join us in a few minutes. And then also Andre Fernandez will join us to talk a little Marlins. On the text line, by the way, got happy birthday. I heard you on Dolphins Brawl podcast. It was good stuff. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Appreciate you out there. Those of you that I am on Dolphins Brawl now. You can catch me there every week. There's a podcast every week there with yours truly that we file every week there on Dolphins Brawl. Check it out. Reminder to G. Paul, Trap, Hewitt, Batman, BF's, Robin, Aquaman rules. That's what Greg B says. So there you go, G. Trap. You got your Aquaman argument going on. A bad night all around for the Heat, losing blowout game 1 and injuries to Bam and Dragon. And don't forget also Butler. Shaking my damn head. What else do we have here? Happy birthday, Big O. Hope you have an awesome day. G from Pennsylvania. Thank you, G. Very kind of you, my friend. Let's see, what else do we have? James in the DR says, happy birthday, Orlando. Thank you, James. as always, thanks to all of you out there, as always, for being so damn supportive of our show, however it is that you do end up supporting our show. Lots of things to talk about on the program. By the way, the Tennessee Titans-Pittsburgh game has been postponed now for later on in the season. Unfortunately, the game will not be played. This is what happened. Titans and Steelers on Thursday. They found out that the two teams will not be playing at all in Week 4. The NFL announced that the game will be rescheduled until later in the season. The league said the decision was made after one more Titan player and another team personnel member tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday. There were 8 positive tests on Tuesday, and one other player tested positive on Wednesday. The league statement also said that the Titans facility will remain closed until further notice. No word was given when the league might look to play the game, but Week 7 looks like a good bet. The Titans are scheduled for a bye that week, while the Steelers are set to play the Ravens. Baltimore and Pittsburgh both have scheduled byes in Week 8. However, they could move the Ravens bye up a week to account for this week's change in the schedule. So at least they have an opportunity on how to get by, because this will be their bye week now. This is what ends up becoming their bye week. They probably now, what the coaches will do is give them the weekend off now, and then they can come back to prepare for the following week. Now, obviously in Tennessee, they've got their COVID issues, so they've all got to go through quarantine. And the good thing is that they've got a chance to kind of make this up. Now, this is the first time it happens. Football cannot have the problem of baseball. It's not that easy to make up football games like it is baseball games. You can play a doubleheader anytime you want, man. You can play, 10 games in a week if you want. In football, it doesn't fly. And when you even play 2 games in a week, it's not even fair. You're not even treating them like human beings when you're doing that. Okay, I just got to say, to me, I know that they're all, listen, everybody's got to make money and all that good stuff, but how you don't give a team a bye week for a Thursday game, it's beyond me. How you make them play on Sunday and then play on Thursday again, it's criminal, dude. Okay? And the teams that have to travel on a Thursday, it's even more criminal. Okay? That's why the win for Miami, I love it. Oh, well, it's just Jacksonville. They treat Miami, first of all, like they're some Super Bowl contender and that they're above beating Jacksonville when they're a rebuilding team. So a win against Jacksonville at home is awesome. A win against Jacksonville on the road in a short week on a Thursday is freaking amazing. To me, these Thursday games are absolutely brutal. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but hopefully, they talked about both those teams having that bye week in Week 8. Maybe that's where they can, play with it a little bit and have that game with Pittsburgh and Tennessee, which, by the way, was going to be one of the better games this week on the slate. Obviously, for you and me, a lot of us that are Dolphin fans, it's going to be the Seattle-Miami game, but the rest of the country thinks that game sucks. But Bills-Raiders is actually a sexy game. Patriots-Chiefs might be one of the marquee games of the week, along with Tennessee and Pittsburgh. Eagles-Niners would have been decent if it wasn't that one quarterback's broken down and the other one's also breaking down mentally. Colts and Bears is actually a half-decent game, too, now, because the Bears are 3-0. Colts are 2-1. Jags-Bengals sucks. Browns-Cowboys sucks. Saints-Lions, that one could be intriguing to a little bit. What else? Chargers-Buccaneers? Not really. That one's not interesting. Ravens-Washington? Not interesting. Cards-Panthers? Not interesting. Vikings-Texans? Not interesting. Go Vikings, by the way. Remember that, Dolphins? We are Viking fans today, or this weekend. We need the Texans to drop to 0-4. Giants and Rams, not interesting. And then you've got the Falcons and the Packers on Monday night. That is actually interesting, even though the Packers are 3-0 and the Falcons are 0-3. That one's still interesting because the Falcons could actually make it, somewhat interesting. So there were several decent games this week, not just Tennessee and Pittsburgh. So that's the good thing, okay? It's not like you missed out on the best game of the week. There's some other pretty damn good games this week in the NFL slate. So I like that. Big O, in your eyes, has there been a player that has been a disappointment so far this year for the Dolphins? Wow. I don't know. I don't know if I would. I'm not ready to call anybody a disappointment yet, man. No, I don't have anybody right now that I would label a disappointment. We're only entering week 4, so it's not even fair to do this.
Maybe the secondary, because we were expecting so much, but we've had injury. There's circumstances, right?
I'm not disappointed in Noah being beaten up by Stephon Diggs.
Young.
He's a rookie, bro. He up against a hell of a receiver.
I'm just trying to
find
one thing.
No,
I'm glad, but I don't want
No, but I don't want to do that just to do it. I want. He asked me if there's somebody that's really been a disappointment, and right now I can't really label anybody a disappointment. Overall, no. Offensive line's playing well.
The offensive line has probably been the biggest
bright spot.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. No.
And you know what? That right there, that was our biggest concern. That's what we expected to take the longest, to not show.
Well, it normally does.
And it's probably the best thing right now on that team.
We heard suck for luck in the past and tank for Tua. What they're saying this year for losing for Lawrence, yeah, probably something like that. They come up with all those crafty lines. Losing for Lawrence, okay, why not? Tank for Trevor, yeah. Let's see, Big O, you take away the receivers, and Russell's arm is gone. I know it's a tall order, but Russell outside the pocket is unstoppable. Russell in the pocket, out of the pocket, running. That guy's a weapon, period, man. He's a hell of a player. Do the Vikings have any shot at beating the Texans? Are you serious? Of course they do. It's the Texans. They know how to lose to everybody. Think of it this way. Playing on Thursday is like getting into a car accident and be expected to go to work that day. Right? Yeah. That's basically it. Big O, do you think the Steelers are true contenders? No, I don't. Not at all. Their 3 victories are winless Texans, Broncos, and Giants. No, the Steelers aren't that good. No. Not at all. No. I mean, they'll win some games and they'll sneak into the playoffs, but I don't see them as a Super Bowl contender. No, I don't. Needham seems to have taken a step back, but like O said, not fair. Yeah, he hasn't played much, so I can't really, torch the kid. And they drafted Noah, and obviously they like Noah because he's got high-end potential. He's starter-type material on the outside. You know what I mean? Obviously, because look what's going on. They're putting him on the outside right away in the first injury. I'm not going to do that to Needham. No, not doing that to him.
Mentioning the into an accident.
I'll give you somebody. I don't think Jordan Howard's been that impressive when he has run the ball.
You know what? He's been stuffed. That guy's supposed to get you a yard when you need a yard.
Yeah,
that's all he's supposed to do.
If I look up his stats,
that's a good call, though.
I bet you that's the only guy that I can think of right now that I can say I am disappointed in. And let me see, rushing. Howard, he has 16 attempts for 12 yards. Okay?
He's not even getting you that 1 yard.
He's averaging 0.8 yards per carry. Boom. That's your guy right there. Okay? And don't give me that you can't do better, because Gaskin's averaging 4, Breida's averaging 4.2. Okay? So those guys are averaging 4 yards a clip. So you can't average 3-4 yards. I get it that when you're coming in, they know what's going on. They know it's a short yardage situation. They know they're going to hand it off to you, but you got to do better. He does have 3 touchdowns, which is the funny part, right? He's going to end up with like 60 yards on the season and 16
He's
touchdowns.
averaging 0.8 yards a carry, and he's a fantasy third running back.
Yeah, he's a vulture, as what we say in fantasy.
To pile on, you figuring out, Howard, that accident and record, expected to go to work. The day you had the crash, we still did our show at Hialeah, if you remember.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I just wanted to, throw that out there.
They had totaled my car. Yes, yeah. I did do the second show of the day that day. I had a car accident and did 2 radio shows. Yeah,
it was crazy. I'm leaving Craig's in, and you're like, "Come pick me up," and I'm like, "What the hell? You should be way in front of me, man. I'll be at Hialeah in a minute." No. I need you to pick me up. I totaled my. No, really?
Right.
That was. And we still did the show.
Yes, we did. I was speaking of show, I was reading this article, and we went to the UFO concert. It was in February, right?
The end of February. Yeah, that was our
last. February,
yes.
We went to 2 UFO concerts, right? And so I was reading an article today. Okay, this is February, which we're only a few months away from it being a whole year from our last concert. So the UK's live music scene has been in a state of paralysis since the pandemic enforced shutdowns in late March, and with escalating fears of a second wave of the virus, related deaths causing Boris Johnson's government to implement tighter restrictions. One of the country's most successful promoters, Kilimanjaro Live boss, Stuart Galbraith, cautioned that a return to any sort of normality may still be 6 months away. Quoted in an interview with Trade Bible Music Week, the Concert Promoter Association vice chair revealed what he had earmarked April 8th as a target date for full capacity live gigs returning. We've got some big asks still of government, and we really need to focus upon those. Number one is the date. Where can we get going? And I think what should be pushing for a date that is April 8th. The reason I say that is it's immediately after Easter, and I think governments will be able to find that acceptable. I think it will fit in the political and society agendas. It's midweek, so it's not going to be a date you're going to see people go crazy on like a Saturday. We could ease into it. The government announcements were really just playing out, and we've been anticipating for the last 2 or 3 months, he added. It's not realistic to expect that we can open without social distancing at full capacity until the virus is perceived across society to be contained. And that full capacity gigs and mass gatherings are not only scientifically estimated to be safe, but are also accepted by the customer as having the confidence to come to those shows. So there's a fine line to tread. I don't see that our openings won't be until spring of next year. These measures may be in place for up to 6 months, and that may take us through the end of March, and then you've got to go family-to-family contact across the biggest public holiday of the year, which is the 4 days of Easter. So I genuinely don't think we're going to be seeing ourselves opening until at least the first week of April. Okay? The challenges, by the way, the industry is facing now, essentially survival. Ian Huffman, director of X-Ray Touring, his clients are Queen of the Stone Age, Alice in Chains, Shakira, Machine Head, and more, told The Telegraph, it's not just survival of artists, venues, and promoters, it's the whole live ecosystem. The prospects for next year are grim. Live music is entering a deeply concerning phase. It's a rocky road, and there will be casualties. Do you know how glad I am that I have been a concert maniac for 30 some odd years? Because it's going to be a while till we're back to normal again, man. And you
Even when they first open up, man, are you going anywhere?
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you.
No, the restaurants are open.
Yeah,
I want to have a steak today. You think I'm going to a restaurant? No.
You're not getting in your private jet and going over to Tampa to do burns?
No. And let me tell you, if I didn't have this other project coming at the end of the month, I would have gone over to Jacksonville for that concert. But if since I got this thing going, I won't be able to do that. That shows you, for those of you out there that want to go to shows, that's how bad it is. Myron chiming in with another super chat. He says, don't think I forgot about my YouTube bracelet. Oh, my friend passed away. COVID-19 made it worse for her. She was already sick. It's terrible, dude. So sorry to hear that, Myron.
Sorry to hear that, Myron.
Damn.
Yeah.
Prayers, brother. Prayers. It's terrible. And we have your bracelet, man. Dying to give it to you. I have it here in my bag.
It's burned a hole in his bag a couple of times. He's had to pick it up off the floor, put in another contraption.
Yep, I have it in my bag. So come on out here, bro. Please. Love to see you again. We're out here at Toyota of Hollywood. Come on by, 1841 North State Road 7. Arianis Gonzalez, I just saw her walk by now. She'll take care of you. Arianis, Lori Rodriguez, Azric Smith, Gary Thompson. Great people out here, whether you're buying or leasing. I'm telling you, come on out here. They will definitely take care of you. And you will get an extra $1,000 off your trade-in when you mention me. So make sure when you come on down and you're going to buy your vehicle, and if you're going to trade in your old vehicle, you get your price. And then you say, well, wait a minute, I want another $1,000 because Big O says I will get another $1,000 down for my trade-in. So come on down to 1841 North State Road 7 right here at Toyota of Hollywood. Let's take a quick break. Back with Herbie Lopez, baby, the GM of Toyota of Hollywood. Next. Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com. Go to the website. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231 or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Alrighty, we back. Yes, remember the second half of our show will be this afternoon from 2 to 5. We're going to be out at Hialeah Park. Ethan Skolnick will join us from 5 Reasons. Jeff Zilgett from USA Today covering the NBA. He's, I believe Jeff is there in the bubble. Also, Eddie House will be joining us at 4 o'clock also, so we'll have some fun with him. Herbie Lopez is going to join us now, the general manager here at Toyota of Hollywood. So we'll talk a little bit as my man Herbie is obviously very happy because his Lakers dismantled my Heat last night. First of all, Herbie, how you doing, my brother? You doing all right? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. There we go now.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back.
It's good to have you back, my brother. Last night, it was like the moment was too big for them. It was the first time in the entire series. Because, you know, I know we could get to the injuries and all that stuff, but it was falling apart for them way before the injuries. And that's the sad part for us, because now what I thought could be a series, I don't even know if it's going to be a series anymore.
You know, Big O, it's always, how do you transition into the playoffs, and can you play half-court offense and defense, right?
Right.
That's what it's always. So if you look at the East, what did they go through? Where were the teams that they played? Indiana Pacers,
Boston, and Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, and then Boston.
Right.
And they're more transition. They're a more transitional team.
Yes.
Even though the Lakers are too.
Yes, they are. Actually, the Lakers did what they normally don't do last night. They actually hit 3-pointers. And they're one of the worst teams in shooting 3-pointers.
We've been doing pretty good in the bubble, though.
They're 21st in the NBA in threes. And they were, they shot like 60% last night. It was like a sick night last night. But to me, it was more about watching Anthony Davis, and they had no answer whatsoever for Anthony Davis. And then they tried to match up with LeBron several times, and LeBron broke down pretty much everybody that tried to cover him. And to me, that was the main issue, because they started off great. But then once one thing started going awry in that middle of their first, where they miss a shot, did a bad defensive play, a turnover, it then just started to catapult, and they couldn't stop it.
Right.
They couldn't stop it. It was like weird. It was one of those, and that's what I was saying there. It was the first time where they actually looked like the moment was too big for them, like Hero too. You know what I mean? As great as he's been, last night he kind of looked like a little
You
lost.
can see the shot was short. You can see a lot of things, right?
Yeah. But they're young, and then this is kind of like, okay, finally they kind of look what they are, a young team.
But not only is the moment big, the players are big.
Right.
I mean, the Lakers are long. The Lakers are big.
Yeah.
They got a lot of girth. I mean, AD is a problem to handle. And I've always said that if there's one player that can, it would be Adebayo.
Yeah.
Right? Just because he's agile, he's got the athleticism, he's got the size. But AD's a monster, man. Nobody could really guard that guy.
No.
That guy's as versatile as it gets. And to have him and LeBron, and I said this last time, when you have the best two players in that series, and they're on the same team, normally the one that's got the best player wins. When you got the best two players, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think Miami has the better organization, the better coaching staff. They might even be deeper as a team and maybe even play better as a team. But when you have the two best players and then people can feed off those guys,
it's just tough.
It's over, because that's always been basketball.
And everybody's long.
Right.
Everybody's long.
Right.
You got Kuzma, you got Morris, you got AD, you got LeBron James.
Rondo's long for a guard.
Caruso's big. Danny Green is big. Everybody's big.
Right.
Everybody is big.
Yeah.
JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard. I didn't even mention those two.
Right.
I mean, they're just big.
Right. Yeah, it's sad, man, because the part I don't like now is that now we may not end up with a good series. And so the basketball fan gets cheated out of it. And then for Miami, it almost ends up, for us, it's already a great year. No matter what happens, it doesn't really matter. They weren't supposed to be here.
Right.
But the average basketball fan is going to say, well, I got cheated, man. We would have been better off with Boston, Milwaukee, or Toronto making it. They might have given the Lakers a better run. That's going to be the narrative behind it all.
I'm with you, but you said earlier I should be elated. I should be really happy. I'm happy. But the fact, I'm also a Heat fan. I mean, I love the Lakers, but I'm also a Heat fan. So the Heat are my second favorite team. But to see that it's maybe not a series, I think they're going to bounce back, though. I hope they make it a series. But
if they were healthy, yes.
Right.
But Bam has the wrist and the shoulder. Jimmy has the ankle. And now Goran, it's plantar fasciitis.
Yeah, torn.
Come on, dude. And they're saying, oh, well, he could still, put some weight on it. Bro, I've covered athletes with plantar fasciitis. It's over. You know what plantar fasciitis is? Do you guys know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's the heel of your foot, right? And then that arch, it's that piece of muscle that is tearing off the bone.
Wow.
So it feels like your foot is on fire. So the only way to fix it is by completely tearing it off and then surgically putting it back so it can heal together again. Okay? I watched Timmy Hardaway, I watched Jason Taylor, and Alonzo Mourning.
Wasn't Warwick Dunn one of the first ones to have successful surgery on that?
No, they're all successful. But what I'm saying is,
no, but I'm saying first one back in the day.
I don't remember. But what you can't do is you can't really playing through it. You're just a shell. Like Jason Taylor played with plantar fasciitis. Like he still got like a sack or two or something. It was
just a different player.
But he was a different player. He wasn't nearly. He's still dominant because he's Jason Taylor, bro. You know what I mean? It's just great players sometimes can overcome, but you're not going to get the real Jason Taylor. I didn't see the real Zoe. He ended up having surgery. I didn't see the real Timmy. He ended up having surgery. Because that's exactly what ends up happening with plantar fasciitis. You end up in surgery because they have to peel the whole damn thing off your foot.
He's such a key player for that team, too. I mean, Goran, it just opens everything up with his driving ability, and his leadership. And he's a veteran.
And his shooting, dude. His shooting has been money.
Is great. His shooting is great.
His shooting has been absolutely money.
I was actually just saddened by that whole thing because, he's one of those guys that's going to get a nice contract when the season's over.
Right.
And to see him go through that, I think he'll still get the contract, but just for him not to finish out with a bang is just awful.
Yeah, he'll get a one-year deal because they've got to stay liquid for the following year.
For Giannis?
To try, or whoever. I don't know.
Woo-hoo.
I don't know if Giannis is really going to leave Milwaukee. He kind of looks like the kind of guy that would stay
Very
in that
loyal,
place.
right?
Yeah. He's like a blue-collar guy. He would stay there, although he didn't really totally commit. Even when his last statement was, if we do everything that we need to do or something, I forgot how I'm paraphrasing, but it wasn't like a flat-out commitment like, yeah, for sure I'm here for the rest of my career. So he kind of left the door open.
Puts the pressure on the ownership.
Yeah, well,
to bring the players and spend the money.
Yeah, so the question is, does he sign that max deal now or the Supermax the following year?
Wait for the Supermax. Right.
Does he wait for the Supermax? So that'll be interesting because obviously you still risk by waiting another year to wait for that Supermax. But it'll be interesting. But they said they're willing to go, over the luxury tax. And, I mean, if you're going to want to keep those kind of guys, you're going to have to do that.
Right.
Because there's 4 or 5 other cities waiting to – we'll happily go over the luxury tax, right?
Everybody wants Giannis.
Of course. Who doesn't want Giannis? All you got to do is teach the kid to shoot. And I'm sure they'll be able to do that here in Miami. That's for damn sure.
What do you think about the Doc Rivers?
I have no problem with it. I think some people are overreacting like, oh, no, they shouldn't have done that. Dude, you choked away a 3-1 lead in the second round. And you've done it 3 times. So there's a track record with you now. And you didn't adjust. You didn't get the max out of this team. That was a championship caliber team. It was a team I thought would win it all. A lot of people thought with the roster that they put together, it should have been the Lakers and the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. And I was saying that was your NBA Finals.
Right.
Didn't matter who advanced from the East. They were going to lose anyways, and that's what's going to happen anyways. But, to not get to at least the Western Conference Finals and not get to like a 6 or 7 games where you played a hell of a series, then I think he survives. But you're up 3-1 on Denver and you don't survive? That's unacceptable.
And Ballmer's not playing games. You could just see he wants to change it all.
Oh, dude.
He's got a new stadium coming. He's got everything, and it's a win now roster. It's a win now roster.
Yeah. The question is, who are they going to get? Who's
Right.
the guy that is? Because I don't buy this Tyronn Lue crap. Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm not a Tyronn Lue guy. I don't think he's that great a coach or anything like
They're
that.
throwing out a name,
I
Big
think
O.
He's ridden LeBron's coattails is what he's done.
And I'm sorry to interject, but I want you to know they're throwing out a name out there that would hurt me a lot. Phil Jackson. There's no way he comes back and he coaches the Clippers.
He's so out of touch nowadays, dude.
Right?
I would never bring that guy back at this point. He's a slacker already at this point. He doesn't want to grind anymore. He didn't want to grind with the Knicks.
That would hurt me if he ever signed there.
Why? I mean, I don't see Jerry West guiding them to Phil Jackson.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah, he is the guy behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Running the thing.
I don't see that. I think you better get somebody young, somebody that understands the game a little bit more now that it has changed. You know what I mean? It's a completely different game, and that's what that's where
It's a players' league.
that's where Riley kind of screwed Spo, because Spo was already started that positionless basketball thing with the big three. So he was already ahead on the curve. And then Riley throws the big center on his ass in Whiteside and slows the whole game down for him. And Spo is a good soldier, so he sucked it up and he made the best of it. But now you see where he's back at again with this kind of roster and the success they're having. And it's really important to understand where you're at, because life evolves. This isn't the same Toyota dealership that was 10 years ago, 20 years ago,
Correct.
30 years ago. And if you don't change with the times, and look, with the COVID, that's changed the way you're going to do business in the
Correct.
future, because everything changes.
Yep.
Radio is dying. It's podcasting. It's .coms. It's digital. TV's dying. It's digital. It's on demand. Everything.
Yeah, the cable companies are completely out.
They're dying. Yeah, the satellite companies are dying because it's going to be Hulu. It's YouTube TV.
And they're expensive.
And they're expensive. I've saved a lot of money switching from DirecTV to YouTube TV, bro.
Yeah.
A ton. But anyway, and it's more convenient, too. It's less equipment in your house and all that other stuff, whatever. But my point is, if you don't evolve, it runs you over. And that's what happened to Phil Jackson in New York. Things were already evolving, and he was not with the times. So I don't see them going backwards that way. You have to go forward, and you have to find a coach, whether it's a Nick Nurse, whether it's a Spo, you got to find somebody young that understands what's going on now, can relate more to the players too, on top of all of that, and can change with this game. Because remember that Clippers team isn't even traditional to what Phil Jackson was used to also.
Right. Yeah, of course not.
I don't know who the name is, but you got to find somebody that can change a little bit more with the times. You know what I'm saying?
Is that crazy that you can't name a coach that could go in there and be successful? It's
because you need somebody that can close the deal. I'll give you one if you want, Mark Jackson. I like Mark Jackson.
I love Mark Jackson.
I thought he did a great job with Golden State. I thought he did a really nice job of establishing that culture there and the defense.
Oh, he definitely built that.
Yeah, he helped build that. And that's the guy that I would bring. If I had to think of somebody right now that sees the game the way it is, I like Mark Jackson. That would be the one guy. Now, brother, what happened behind the scenes with Mark Jackson?
It's weird. It's just, I don't know. It's almost like he's been blackballed.
Right.
Right?
Like something went on that we don't know about.
They said he was really, really religious in the huddles and in the locker room, and that kind of alienated some people, where he was kind of imposing his will and what he believed in. But he's such a great coach. He was such a great, point guard.
But that's a conversation you can have with him, can't you?
I agree 100%.
You can hey, listen.
Especially Myers. I mean, he's such a great GM.
Yeah, we love you and everything, but you got to leave religion out.
Yeah.
Or something. Can't you do that? If that was the case, you know what I mean? I know he didn't get along with the owner too.
Right. That was the other thing
he had
too.
something like that, but okay, so what? People have disagreements all the damn time. That doesn't. Jimmy Butler didn't disagree with Chicago and Minnesota, and he agrees just fine with Miami.
Yeah, he's a different player in Miami.
Right. Well, he fits what they are. Minnesota is what they are, and Chicago is what they are. They're not the Bulls of MJ. That franchise is a joke. And Philly, they were just morons because they chose to give the money to Tobias instead of him, and they did not pick the right guy because of leadership.
I agree. Jimmy should have been the guy.
Jimmy should have been the guy in Philadelphia, you know what I mean? But that's, again, that's why it's really, you've got to make the right decisions.
That's another team that's looking for a coach, too.
Oh, Philly? Oh,
Philly.
yeah. Philly, yeah. Yeah.
They spoke to Tyronn Lue, and now they're speaking to Doc Rivers, so we'll see.
So what do you got going on here, bro? What's new this week at Toyota of Hollywood?
Listen, we just finished a great month, and, unbelievable incentives just came out for all the 21s. Inventory is stacking up. We're gonna have an unbelievable fourth quarter, and with the incentives that Toyota's putting out, with the inventory that we have, you gotta come over. This is the Disney World of the car industry. You're gonna have fun. We have live music. We have restaurants in here. We have a humongous lounge.
Live radio show.
Yeah, live radio show. Definitely live radio show. I love it. It's a different environment. It's just a different environment. We make sure we have our face masks. We make sure we have our sanitation. We have everything. We're prepared for anybody that comes in so that they feel comfortable and that they have a pleasant experience.
There you go.
So,
and by the way, if you mention me, you'll get another $1,000 off your trade-in. So if you're buying or leasing a vehicle, come on out here and enjoy it. Oh, somebody's saying that's a nice ride next to you, Big O. Yeah, that's a Supra, dude. There's a red one there. There's a black one there. That's a blue Supra back there.
Right in between the two of you, the blue one.
Yeah, the blue one's back there. I mean, it is. And a lot of dealerships, Toyota dealerships, don't even have one Supra.
Right.
And you guys have several Supras because how many did they make? They don't make a lot of them, right?
Yeah, it's a
limited production,
limited
right?
supply, but we've got double digits. We've got over 10 Supras in stock.
Yeah. You might go to a place that they may have one Supra that you can look at and buy. Meanwhile, there's a red, a black, and a blue right here in front of you, okay?
We got white, we got yellow,
Yep.
we got a silver one.
And they move. Oh, man, I took a ride in one. They move, baby. They move. One of the guys here owns one, and he gave me a ride, and that thing flies, dude.
Yeah, it's a fun ride for sure.
It is a fun ride. It would get me in a lot of trouble.
It's unbelievable how fast this year's gone by. I mean, we got Halloween coming up soon.
I know.
We got Halloween, we got Thanksgiving, then you got the Christmas and Hanukkah holidays, and then the New Year. That's it.
And no holiday has ever been suited better for a COVID year than Halloween, because that's when you really want to wear a mask.
Right. I like that. I might use that. Okay.
I got to tell you. All right, so give us an incentive that people can take advantage of.
Well, right now we've got, Toyota as a finance company also gives us a lot of incentives. So a conquest program, that means if you're financing with another bank, for example, and you've made your last 12 payments, you've made them on time, Toyota has a program where they get you out of that loan where you might have a higher interest and put you with Toyota Finance at a much lower interest.
Wow.
And then once you're with the Toyota Finance Company and you've made payments for 12 months on time, then you qualify for what they call a loyalty program, which gives you an even lower interest rate. So again, we want to help everybody out. Not only do we want to give you the best prices, but we also help you out on the finance end of it. Like, you just mentioned, if they mention your name, you get an extra $1,000 on your trade. So we're trying to help you out from all angles. And that's what this is all about, is helping out people. And the way you grow a dealership, I've been with this company now 22 years, and I've been here at the Toyota dealership now this is my 20th year. And I can tell you the way we built it was we took care of people. And when you take care of people, then people want to bring other people with them. And that's really how you grow it.
Yeah, no doubt. And I can tell you because I bought a car here. My mother-in-law bought a car here, so The experience is there. We would never tell you to go buy or lease a vehicle where we wouldn't do it ourselves. You can come out here and see Herbie. Arianis Gonzalez is walking around. Lori Rodriguez, Azric Smith, Joel Rubio. Just some great people out here. And obviously Steve Ostrov is cracking the whip, making sure that everything is running perfectly in 400,000 square feet. This place is amazing.
It's such a great feeling to come to work. It's such a beautiful building. The environment and the atmosphere is awesome. Just come on in. We're gonna take care of you.
All right, my brother. You watching the Marlins, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
It's impressive. It's impressive that, I had a guy tell me, I haven't been watching baseball. Are the Marlins in the playoffs? I said, yes, they are. And they're doing well.
And they won.
Yeah, exactly.
They won. Although what sucked again was Sterling Marte.
Yeah, with the finger.
Broke his finger, and it's like, damn,
They said he's going to play through it, though.
Yeah, he's going to play through it, but still, I mean, I hope he can play through. He's been so important to them.
Oh, my God.
We're not the Dodgers and the Yankees, bro. We can't just, hey, DJ LeMahieu, come off the bench. You hit 370. Come on, go ahead. We don't have that, bro. So that guy was huge for us. You know what I mean? But to steal one already from the Cubs, and in baseball, and in a 3-game set, bro.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So they might wait. Sixto can deal, man. That's going to be fun today to watch that kid deal.
I like it.
Fun. All right, good stuff as always, my brother. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, guys.
You got it. The great Herbie Lopez out here at Toyota of Hollywood. Some great people out here. So come on out and make sure you tell them that I sent you. All right, let's get Andre Fernandez on really quick so we can talk a little Marlins with him and have some fun with Andre. And Andre actually was writing for the Herald and covering the Marlins because I guess the Herald, was it the Herald? I think it was the Herald. I want to say that he was, I think I saw him write an article this morning. I think it was for the Herald, if I'm correct. But we'll get Andre on now, and we'll have a little fun with Andre Fernandez. Fernandez Andre C on Twitter. You can follow him there on Twitter at Fernandez Andre C. And we'll talk a little Marlins, as last night they were able to defeat the Cubs 5-1. Let's talk to him as Sixto gets ready for his outing tonight.
We got Andre, bro.
I'm sorry, this afternoon against Yu Darvish. Let's bring him aboard. Andre, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Big O? How are you?
I guess I'm loving life, and I'm hurting because the Heat got their asses kicked last night. 3 people got injured. Then I'm happy because the Marlins won, but I'm a little pissed off because Marte ends up getting an injury and all of that. So first of all, my man, what can you tell us about the injury? Is he really going to try to play through it?
It sounds like he's going to try to play through it, but if they want to, I think they want to kind of avoid probably him going up there and hitting today. I don't know if that means maybe as a pinch runner or just try to get him in for an inning on defense, something, but he'll be around. But it's a shame, man, because he's really been the key pickup for them. And yesterday, again, he had a timely hit for them in that rally they had in the 7th inning. And again, I think they're gonna miss that because we saw how big the veteran came through for them yesterday again. So it's just unfortunate. So.
And listen, dude, you've covered baseball long enough. I've watched baseball long enough. We've seen that injury a whole bunch of times. It's really hard to play that game through that injury because of the leverage, the power, the grip, everything that you need in order to handle the bat.
Right. I mean, last year this one was a little worse, but we saw, Brian Anderson got hit on the hand, and that was it. He missed the last month of the season. Couldn't go back up again. And, yeah, I mean, that's your whole thing. It's the leverage, especially the left hand for him, more exposed to the pitcher. And, they've been hitting him a lot this whole season. Even when he was in Arizona, he was getting hit a lot. I think it was like 9 times. It's one of the most – the guys that have been hit the most this season because they kept pitching him inside. But, again, if somehow they can get him back, if they were to get through the series, huge help. But it's going to hurt right now when you need your most veteran bat.
So did the pitch get away from him, or did the bastards did they want to get him injured since they were losing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a strategy. I think they try to it's kind of like when they, with remember the whole Urania Acuna thing, you got to pitch him inside because another guy's going to kill you at the plate. So it's the same thing with Marte. That's the whole strategy. Let's pitch him up and in, back him off the plate, that sort of thing. But again, untimely, obviously, especially right now when you're trying to close the series out and you're facing another good pitcher today with you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But before I get to today's stuff, Alcantara last night, he had a terrific outing, but not just that, the maturity level of the way he approached this outing, how much he wanted the responsibility of it, and being so young to respond to it. Because to me, that's the most priceless part about this season right now is that they're actually getting playoff experience. The regular season, they got kind of cheated out of 100 games, and the minors got, cheated out of an entire season. But right now, this is the priceless part, that if these guys can perform at a high level in the playoffs, man, come on, that kind of experience you can't buy, dude.
Right. No, and funny, Mattingly made that joke about, not having the fans there. That's the thing. You kind of wish they'd go through the fire of, the craziness at Wrigley or the craziness at Yankee Stadium in September to really build you up for that kind of thing in the future. But either way, it's games of high importance. It's games where every pitch is being looked at by the opposing team, every bat's being studied, that sort of thing. So, there's no substitute for that. And with him specifically, you didn't see this kind of guy 2 years ago. I don't even think you saw it that much early on last year, but he wants the ball. He's more confident up there. You could just tell him his demeanor, the way he talks about each start. And then he's getting pissed every time they're taking him out now. Like seriously pissed. And then Mattingly talked about it this morning. He goes, I want him pissed. I like my pitchers to be pissed at me when I'm going up there to take the ball from him. So you see that's something that if that's really come out of him now and it's something to stay, that's going to be huge because this is the guy you're looking at to be your ace, for the next few years.
No doubt. Corey Dickerson, dude, I mean, this guy has been just a pro, and I don't know how many times this year I can say he comes up with a big-time hit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why the whole juggling act, even before COVID or before anything for them was, they're still young. A lot of the young prospects aren't ready yet. But how do we make this team at least look like a major league baseball team out there and not lose 105 games again? Well, you get guys like that. You get guys that are veterans with experience. It was Corey's first playoff game, but guess what? It definitely wasn't his first game at Wrigley Field. He's hit well there before. That's huge. And knowing that, going up there and being able to tell guys, hey, attack, Kyle Hendricks this way, or expect him to throw you this, or little things. That's where he comes in. That's where Aguilar comes in. That's where even that's where Starlin comes in. And even if he's on the bench today, he could still point things out. And that's why that's going to be, to me, that's huge value. They don't have a lot of guys with playoff experience on the team compared to other teams, but they do have key guys in key spots there.
What's it say, or what should we say about the Marlins front office that they kind of did a nice balancing act this year of development, but yet still trying to win? Because like the Marte move, some people question that move. It's like, well, why are you acquiring this guy? You guys aren't going anywhere. And they're like, no, actually, we are going somewhere. We're trying to win here. I kind of like the attitude of the way they handled development, but yet at the same time still trying to stay competitive.
Yeah, and I think that's embracing the moment and the fact that you can making a playoff run is huge all the way around, just even for your young guys, like we were talking about before. And would this have happened? There's been a lot of talk of would this have happened and have been 162? Maybe not, because if you look at the record, they're pretty much a 500 team, whatever. But we're here, they're in the playoffs now. And, I think embrace that, and the fact that they were able to do something like that while still bringing up. I mean, look at all the guys they did bring up, even ahead of schedule, to at least get their feet wet in the majors. Now you go back next year, and Sixto is not a baby anymore. He's pitched in a playoff game. He's pitched in the regular season against good competition. Trevor Rogers, he broke the ice with him too. Josh Chisholm, your future shortstop, as it pans out, you got him playing or starting in a lot of key games. I mean, all of that is big. Even if you were to start the year next year and you put those guys in AAA, just to fine-tune stuff, whatever, but you already know that they can handle something. They've seen it already, and then build off of that the second you want to bring them back and put them in the lineup and trust them with a key role.
Andre Fernandez, by the way, joining us, and of course you can follow Andre on Twitter at Fernandez Andre C. You got to check out the podcast, Front Page 305. It's got its own Twitter handle, Front Page 305. Andre, tonight we get a little Sixto Sanchez. This afternoon, I'm sorry, at 2 o'clock, we get a little Sixto Sanchez. He has shown us that he has got a wicked arm and incredible talent, but he's been hit for about 9 earned runs in the last 7 innings. So he has not pitched well lately, not like his first couple games where he was on fire, whether it was 0-1 or 2 earned runs. The last couple of games, what's the difference between what we've watched with him in the last couple of games compared to the start of the season? Was it more about the second go-around because it was other teams seeing him again?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Also, teams, I think even in the minor leagues, you saw teams kind of the fact that he's coming out and he's throwing gas and he's in the zone and tried to hit him early in counts and stuff like that. And, that's the thing, that the adjustment he's going to have to make, as he develops and he matures. But the Cubs haven't seen him yet in person. They've seen him on film, but they haven't faced him yet. So that could be one advantage that, they don't have over Atlanta, over Washington, or whatever. But it was interesting to hear that Don Mattingly said about why he went with him now instead of holding him back for maybe Game 3. They organizationally didn't want to come back, and if something happened where they got swept, let's say, and then have the regret of, what could Sixto have done against the Cubs? And we never got to see it. So they said to themselves, we're going to make sure this guy goes out there at least once, because it really is a powder keg. It's a time bomb. You're right. It could be. Maybe he's young and he gets touched up a lot today, but his stuff at least makes you believe that maybe this guy can go out and throw a masterpiece because he has that kind of pitching talent, and not that few of their guys, or really any of the guys, really do outside of maybe Sandy. And so do you want to not fire all your best bullets in the series and have that as a regret? No. So I think that's why they rolled the dice and they're saying, let's put this kid out there. And now they're at least in a good position where if it does happen and today's a disaster, you can always fall back on Game 3 and you're still alive.
Andre, I'm going to assume that we're, maybe able to see the better side of this whole coronavirus crap by next year when the baseball season is rolling around.
I want to assume that too.
yeah, I know. Let's just assume, let's hope that that's the case. If that's the case, have they done enough to create buzz for next year? And maybe, because I remember FanFest this year, I thought it was pretty impressive, the crowd that came out to FanFest. But this year now, people have gotten to see more of the young talent. They've gotten to see them, actually get better. And now maybe you end playoffs now. I almost feel like you should start to get a little bit more of a buzz for 2021, barring, of course, the virus allowing us to enjoy it.
Right. If everything is at least back to normal or close where it's not because of that, I don't know yet how much of a difference it can make. It'll be interesting to see, considering this is all being done with the backdrop of the Heat in the finals and the Hurricanes being incredible so far, destroying FSU, taking on Clemson, whatever. But I think there's some progress at the very least that's been done, and I think it's going to get even better the deeper they'd be able to go. If they advance around here and knock out the Cubs, and things get more exciting for them, maybe facing the Braves now in round 2, and so on and so on. I think it can only help. It can only make things better. Now again, how much better remains to be seen, because until the other day, even when they were playing pretty well during the season, we're by Game 50, Game 55, and it still kind of felt like nothing was being said much about them, especially down here. Like, it still felt like everything was overshadowed, obviously, by the Heat. It was overshadowed, like I said, by the Canes. I mean, even the Dolphins winning Thursday night the other day felt like it was talked about more.
Right.
So that's the challenge. You know what I mean? That's the challenge for them, is to really generate a true buzz that'll bring the people out.
Yeah. I got to tell you, if they can add maybe a name or two to that roster to help the young guys out, I think they would end up creating even more buzz for themselves and belief. Because I think in the end, people want to see if they're willing to spend. Because in baseball, you and I know, my brother, if you don't spend, you're not going to win in this game, man. You just got to spend.
Well,
you got to keep a core. You got to build and I know they're developing their core. But if they can add a free agent or two to help along the way, somebody that can fill in for the next couple of years while the young guys develop, I think that would help a lot in creating that buzz. But there's no doubt they have had to make some inroads right now. Something.
Yeah, no doubt. And names, of course, always help. And I think the Marte move was decent and good for that in terms of, showing something on that regard. And like you said, I mean, now we have the prospects are starting to show up and things are good. So they look good in the terms of all the stuff they've been saying so far on that side of it. They also said that once they get to that point, they would spend. And now we get to see, if they meant it. You know what I mean? Like next year is when we get to see that.
All right, tell us about Front Page 305, my man.
Yeah, it's a podcast. I think we're going on 15 or so episodes now. Manny Navarro, Walter Villa. We're talking a little bit about everything. The Marlins, the Dolphins, the Canes. The Heat, of course. With their finals run. Hopefully it didn't end last night in that debacle. Unfortunately, but hopefully still be talking about the Heat as well, and throwing a little into Miami once in a while as well. So. And just about anything, talking about our long careers in this business. Channel 145 on Sirius XM every Tuesday at noon.
You got it. There you go. From Page 305. He is Andre Fernandez. Follow him on Twitter, Fernandez Andre C. Andre, as always, my brother, thank you for taking some time. Look forward to doing it again.
Definitely. It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks. Take care.
Right. Be good, my man. There you go. Andre Fernandez. Good stuff, as always, man, with him. Always love it. And I hope that people are going to start to support the Marlins a little bit more. For me, look, you all know that I crushed Loria. But I gave Jeter and Sherman the benefit of the doubt. And, we were at Fan Fest this year. We were on board right from the get-go, hoping that things are turning around. And I think they are. I really do.
COVID screwed us out of a couple of spring training games, man.
I know.
We were supposed to, and
regular
regular season as well. But, I mean, it, totally undermined.
Yeah, it's terrible. It really is. All right, let's wrap it up here at Toyota of Hollywood. We thank Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez, all the great people out here. Remember, if you are coming on out here, make sure you mention our name. We are headed off to Hialeah Park. We'll be out at Hialeah Park from 2 to 5. Myron and Gus 1388, thank you for chiming in on the Super Chat.
I know that, dude. Where'd you get the
Super Chats?
Oh, gnarly! Awesome! Totally awesome!
So we'll be out there starting off at 2. Ethan Skolnick will join us at 3 o'clock. Jeff Zilgett from USA Today at 3:30. Eddie House, former Heat player and FS1 analyst, will join us at 4. So we've got a loaded show for you there at Hialeah Park. On behalf of Bill and everybody else, we'll see you in a couple of hours.
Time for my break, man.
Yeah, we'll be back for the second half of the program in a couple of hours. Be good.
We'll see you in a few.